dance for joy or lust or anger, and every time.
So welcome to Not Very Sensible Secondhand Classics, the series where we look at, well, normally what are practical, sensible cars that you could buy for a budget of between £1,000 and £5,000. But although this car is over 15 years old, it's not very sensible at all. This is a 2002 Ford Mondeo estate, ST220. But is it any good? Should you care? Let's find out, shall we? As you can see, I'm not really wearing the typical garb as somebody probably owns an ST220. I've got my corduroy brown jacket on because normally we're very sensible when we go out in these classic cars. But although this is, well, classic is a word that might be applied to these, it depends on your point of view. But they are now, because the Mark III Mondeo was discontinued in 2007, they are actually pretty old. The basic engine for a Mark III when the car was launched in 2000 was a 1.8 litre Mazda L engine with 123 horsepower. For the facelift in 2003, a different 1.8 was also introduced called the SCI engine, which had about 5 brake horsepower more, so they're about 128 horsepower. This is not one of those. The next engine up was a 2 litre Mazda L engine, which is, I think, kind of similar to the one used in the MX-5, about 143 horsepower. That was also the same engine as the Mark III that I drove a while ago, which was back in 2021. That had an automatic gearbox. It was a Gear X, and that had 143 horsepower. The next engine up was a bit more exciting, a 2.5 V6 with 168 horsepower. And then we get into the really interesting stuff. A 3 litre V6 on the more standard cars with 206 horsepower, and then this for the ST220, 222 horsepower. There are also some diesels available, but as usual, due to controversial government legislation and all kinds of other reasons, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. So what's this extremely powerful estate from the early 2000s like to drive? Well, the car's been polybushed, so it does feel a bit firmer than usual. It's not too bad. I've driven worse, like far worse than this. Mr. Richardson in Furious Driving has a 1993 Rover Tomcat 220 Coupe. That's worse than this, but you can feel it's been polybushed. Obviously, the police did use these back in the day, and one of the cars that features on police interceptors is actually owned by Duck. He's got 6 of these in total, these ST220s, and one of them was an ex-police car, which has been, well, it's even faster than this. 0 to 62, the standard one of these was 7.4 seconds. Strangely, this car's only got a 5-speed gearbox because it's a pre-facelift, but all the facelift cars came with a 6-speed. If you want things like automatic gearboxes, you're probably looking at the wrong kind of car, because you want to go for like a gear or a titanium and things like that, you know, to get automatic gearboxes. This is about the driving experience far more than that. Although one thing I will say is the suppleness of the ride, which obviously has been altered by the poly, which is it hasn't completely disappeared. The car still rides and has quite nice steering. And actually, I think if you were looking at one of these in the early 2000s, you'd probably be benchmarking this against something like a Lancer Evolution or a Subaru Impreza STI-WRX. Those obviously were much smaller cars than this, and they had smaller capacity engines, but about the same sort of power. It's similar sort of power to this. And obviously you can get the whole family in this a lot more easily, and also other things that you want. So let's acceleration there. Bear in mind the speed limit is 40, but it makes a good noise, viewers. Let's put it into fourth. Yeah, it's a pretty impressive car, this. Now clearly you can still pick up a Mark III Mondeo as you could in 2021 for under £1,000, but an ST220 No, not at all. Particularly this car, it has just been repainted. It's been completely repainted. We've got some 19-inch custom alloys on this. Now, we haven't got any more power than the 222 horsepower that these come with standard. We do have, you know, something under the bonnet, which we'll see. Actually, this car does look really good. You wouldn't believe it's got over 350,000 miles on it. It doesn't look like that, but it's been fully done. Chap who owns this car, Dunk, he has done a lot of the work himself, and it looks great actually. I'm not really into modified cars much myself, but this one is very special. Oh, I think we're going to have to grab the key to get into the boot. We'll go into the interior first then. Now this is a really early ST220. It's one of the very first that was actually imported in 2002. And that is the name of the car on the sill there. We've got the amazing sort of original Recaro seats the car came with. It was optioned up, this car, massively. One of the things that you'll notice is it's got this amazing period correct optional Ford stereo with sat-nav on it, which is in 2002. That would have been amazing. It's got a 6-disc CD changer as well, which you know, is also pretty good. We've also got the heated front screen, which was amazing. We've got heated seats in this. Now, the last Mondeo of this type I tested had ventilated seats as well. This has only got the heated seats, but I'm not really going to complain about that. Got climate control. We've got the volume controls down here for the stereo. One thing we don't have is cruise control, which is a shame. And because this is an early car, it's only got a 5-speed gearbox. The 6-speeds came in, I think, with a facelift, or it was an option or something, but it's only got a 5-speed gearbox. And the dials look very purposeful in this different shades. The Gear X I tested last time would have had different dials from this, and this is a different dash actually because it's a pre-facelift car as opposed to later post-facelift. The benchmark for quality in one of these was the B5 Passat, which came out in 1997 in this country. And you can tell actually they've really tried to make this feel good. It's not quite the same as one of those. I mean, I have owned a B5.5 Passat in 2003. Actually owned that until about February or March this year, so I'm quite familiar with those. And actually this does feel like that. The only thing that sort of lets the side down, in my opinion, is the Mark IV Fiesta mirror switch there. And also, if you'll see the key in a bit, the key is also a Mark IV Fiesta key, which is, you know, a bit of a shame, but there we go. I think Dunk's opened the boot for me, which is very kind of him. The boot is actually really big in these. The last car we tried was a hatch. With his stage, I mean, look at all this space. Got his cleaning kit in here where he takes it to shows and things like that. Got this nice boot liner as well. That's pretty good. I mean, underneath here, I think we have to sort of do something to get into the bottom of there. Not sure we can just lift that, so I'll have to ask him how we get in there to look at the spare wheel and things. But 490 litres of space, I think it is in this, which is pretty big. It's bigger than a lot of estates would have been at the time, although it's, you know, not a Mercedes E-Class or anything like that. One thing I would personally do if this were my car is actually fit some parking sensors, because I wouldn't want to damage this really, really lovely paint on this car. And strangely, that the Gear X we tested in 2021, that didn't have them either, which is a bit of a shame. Ford obviously were quite mean with their standard equipment, and you know, you could have this lovely car here with this 222 horsepower engine and, you know, sat nav and climate control and heated seats, but parking sensors, now you've got to pay for those. Let's get in the back and see how spacious this is. Probably even more spacious than the hatchback, I would have thought. So if let's climb in here. That's even better. The headroom is fantastic. The hatchback, the headroom's not the biggest really. It does sort of intrude a bit. This is fantastic. We've got rear courtesy light there. We've got door pockets. Now the trim on here it's all right. It's not maybe as nice and soft touch, but this has got real leather in it. and it's good. It feels good. Do we have an armrest in the middle as well? Yes. The only thing I've noticed is that the later cars, or at least the Gear X, had some cup holders and a little storage compartment in there. This doesn't have that. We do have places to put maps and things. This is 2002, and you know, paper maps were still very much in vogue then. And we've got a little thing full of stuff in there. Yeah, we've got a big sort of armrest in there I might look at, and also I might actually get the secret mission documents out as well, and we'll shove those in the front, and we'll have a look to see if they fit in the glove box, which I think they probably will. But yeah, it's very comfortable in here indeed. I mean, you can see why so many of these were used as things like sort of taxis and things like that, or minicabs back in the day. Obviously, you wouldn't probably use an ST220 as a minicab. You'd be using something like a 2-litre. Yeah, that's pretty impressive, really. One thing I noticed about getting in and out the back was just how easy it was. It was pretty easy. So I don't know what's in this glove box. We'll find out. Yeah, I reckon we could probably get like them in here if we didn't have it sort of full of other stuff. I mean, we might still get it in. Oh yes, look at that. That's a really big glove box then. Right, I have to sort that out in the second views, but yeah, the test has been passed. Also, just seeing this earlier, we've got a storage compartment in there as well. Fantastic. Oh, would it have a cup holder? It's quite a violent cup holder, that. Wow. Be careful. Right. We'll look at the engine next.
Power for next time.
So, as Duncan just said to me, these are actually standard hydraulic structures. They're actually off an X-Type, because an X-Type underneath is very similar to this. Now, the engine's not got any more power, but it has been dressed to an extent that I have not seen in a very long time. You can see as well, we've got various show plaques that Doc's attended in various cars. This is actually one of 6 ST220s in his collection. So 3-litre Duratec V6, developing around 222 horsepower. Not the most economical car in the world or anything like that, but these engines are honestly pretty good. There is a cam belt in here somewhere, I think, that needs to be changed at various intervals. You can see here, but actually this is an early car, and I was wondering last night when I was doing some preparation as to how, you know, early the ST220 was made, and this is one from the first year. A lot of information said that the pre-facelift cars didn't have an ST220, but they did for a year, and this is one of them. So yeah, it is a rarer one. Just going to drop the bonnet a little bit. I'll let Dunk do the rest of that, because he's engineered everything quite carefully on this since he's rebuilt the car. So yeah, right. I suppose we better go out for another drive, viewers. I thought that actually maybe these started quite low amounts of money, but well, they don't. This car has been completely repainted. It's been sort of detailed. It's had the engine bay dressed. It's had 19-inch aftermarket wheels put on it, and some other things done to it as well. And obviously, I don't even know what this is worth. You can pick them up probably at a starting price around £2,000 for an ST220 that's in really, really poor condition. I imagine that actually these days, because of the status of these cars, are starting to have around now, because of the age of them and the fact people rent them off sort of like police interceptors. A really nice one of these, maybe £6,000–7,000, something like that. So you know, they not necessarily the cheapest car of the era, but then I just imagine sort of going in one of these. I mean, I personally probably just go for maybe a 2.5 or 3-litre V6 Gear X if it were me. Being able to do really, really good mileage in one of these, being nice and comfortable. Particularly because I know the standard suspension on a Gear X is a lot less firm than this. And actually, the biggest problems with these are things like, you know, people not doing the timing belt on the V6s. the things like the Silver Rock, which is in common with X-Types. Actually, this has got X-Type rear brakes on it, because they're very similar underneath and they have the same issues. And then the subframes as well, they go. So be wary of that if you're going to buy one of these. The saloons and hatches suffer from very, very bad rear arch rot as well. But S8s don't tend to, but just be aware of that as well. Other than that, actually, I think standard ones represent very good value for money, and these are just completely ballistic, aren't they? So viewers, should you consider a Mondeo Mark III ST220 estate? Well, I've quite liked this car. I thought it was going to be quite hard to drive. I thought the clutch was going to be really, really stiff. I thought the suspension was going to be, you know, undrivable. And I thought it was just going to be a monster. Actually, it's not too bad. The clutch is quite light. Gearbox is nice, although this is just a 5-speed one. And it's reasonably easy. The thing is, you do make quite a lot of noise in this car. And it does make you feel like you want to go quite fast. So if you're somebody who can't control their right foot, probably not the best for you. Probably just go for a 1.8 or something. You know, I'd be perfectly happy with a 3-litre gear myself. That would be my kind of thing. But there we go. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video in the comment below, and we shall see you again very soon for some more not very sensible but reasonably priced nostalgic motoring.